A lot of people may think that it's a great time to burn, say after a snow event, but John, really, that's not a great time.
Yeah, a lot of times we get a lot of people have brush piles and stuff, and they think that when we have a snow event, that's the perfect time to burn brush piles, and it's not. By far, it's the worst time to burn brush piles.
So why would a moisture event like a snow be a bad time?
A couple reasons. Number one, most of the time, most of the snows that we get are very limited in moisture. They're dry, if you call it dry snow, but those do not have a lot of moisture in them. The next thing is, most of our snow events that we get here in Oklahoma may last 24 hours, 48 tops, you know, before they're melted and gone. And then what happens is, again, wintertime, dry, dormant vegetation. December, January, February are driest months of the year here in Oklahoma. All the vegetation's dry and dormant. We're also getting all these dry cold fronts that come through that don't have a lot of moisture with them.
Right.
We're having humidities down in the teens, sometimes single digits, so things are really dry. Well, we get a snow on the ground, people think, let's go burn that brush pile, good time to do it. They go burn it, snow melts the next day. The wind typically picks up because we're fixing to have another frontal system come through, and a lot of times it's not associated with any moisture at all. And so we get strong winds either out of the south or out of the north, and everything that's been smoldering in that brush pile, because the brush pile can smolder for several days, even weeks, depending on the amount of dirt, how big the pile was, things like that. And the wind picks up, and nobody's there watching that brush pile, and ember blows out, and there it goes, and it's off to the races.
Now, this brush pile was actually burned, say, 4 days ago whenever it did snow.
It did so, that's right. And again, unfortunately, you know, good light fuel around it. Right. The person that burned it sat and watched it, so they were taking good care of it and doing that. But again, as you can see with this brush pile here, there's a lot of dirt piled up, was pushed up when the pile was made. So within that, you can start digging through there. We were digging through this pile just a while ago, and there's some really hot spots that are still back underneath that dirt. And all it's going to take is some really strong winds, can pick that up, start glowing, ember pops out, gets in the dry grass and doing that, because that's the biggest problem. We may have snow on the ground when the pile burns, but then once that snow melts, that grassy fuels are dry and dormant. There was a lot of brush piles burned after this last snow event here just a few days ago. You know, I walked out from the house over there one day and I seen 5 different smoke plumes scattered all around the horizon. Well, the next 2 days after that, I know Logan County, Noble County had numerous fire calls, and I know several of them were from brush piles that were burned a few days before.
Well, and actually you're a rural volunteer firefighter yourself, not only a researcher, so,
yes.
So you had to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that's typically what happens, and it's usually 2 or 3 days after that pile gets burned and doing that. And so I guess the next question is, when is the best time to burn brush piles?
Yeah.
And it's not December, January, February when we have snow on the ground. The best time to burn brush piles is in May and June, when things green up. We're a lot more moist, so you got green vegetation. Not saying stuff still won't burn, but it will not burn as rapidly, it will not burn as hot, and the conditions aren't near as favorable for wildfire type conditions.
Okay, well thank you much, John, and for more information go to our website, sunup.okstate.edu.